This is a Dalarna University production.
Welcome to the fourth grammar lesson of Arabic 1. Today we're going to talk about the definite and indefinite and also demonstrative pronouns in the singular form. As most languages, Arabic distinguishes between definite and indefinite words. In English, we have the to show that a word is definite, the book, the house, the car, etc. When we use that, we know exactly which book, which car, and which house we're talking about. If we don't really care, or if we want to be unspecific, we say a car, a house, a book, etc. It could be any book, could be any car, or any house. In Arabic, there are two signs showing if a word is definite or not. The first sign is the two letters alif and lam, al, that you attach at the beginning of a word. Beit is a house, any house. Al-Beit means the house. Okay? Al can never stand on its own, and the lam is always attached to the word al is defining. When you have seen the text now, we have read a couple of texts, you've seen that at the end of the words there are also vowels, right? It could be a damma, a kasra, or a fatha, an a, u, or I vowel at the end. When a word is definite, the last vowel is always single. With al at the beginning, there can only be one vowel at the end. Now, if a word is indefinite, instead, the complete opposite is true. You don't add al, of course, and the vowel at the end is a double. So you got two vowels instead of one. And we have a couple of examples here. If we look from right to left, we have kitabun, and you can see the two dammas at the end, the two u vowels, signifying that it's indefinite. Two u vowels together are read like un. Kitab is what we have said up until now. Kitabun is what we will say from now onwards, showing it's an indefinite word. If we want to talk about the book, we add alif lam, al, and we take away one of the vowels at the end. Al-kitabu. And then we read it all together. Al-kitabu. If a word has a feminine marker at the end, as the next word we're going to look at, siyara, up until now we've just said that this sounds like a long A. Siyara, Karima, Jamila, etc. If the letter signifying that it's a feminine word is a ta marbuta, the little circle with two dots above. If that's the end, when we add the final vowels, we need to add a T sound as well. So the word siyara with the added vowels becomes siyaratun, and you can hear the T. Siyaratun. And with the al at the beginning, it becomes as-siyaratu. Just one U at the end, but we can still hear the T. As-siyaratu. Last word is a dog and then the dog. Kalbun, al-kalbu. Okay, so we've got two signs, the al and the single or double vowel at the end of the word. the next thing we're going to talk about today is demonstrative pronouns. Last lesson we learned that feminine and masculine is very important in Arabic since all words are divided into these two groups. A word is either feminine or masculine. And adjectives can be changed to be either feminine or masculine, and so on. Now, this feminine-masculine business doesn't only count for nouns and adjectives. It works for all other words, almost all other words as well. And it definitely works for the demonstrative pronouns. Now, in English, there are two demonstrative pronouns that are used most of the time. This, for things that are close to you, this book, this computer, this course, and that for things that are a bit further away. That car over there, that dog over there, and so on. Now, in Arabic, we have the same words, this and that, but they come in two versions. This for masculine things, هذا. This for feminine things, هذه. That for masculine things, ذلك, and that for feminine things, تلك. Now, it doesn't only work for things, it works for humans as well. So if you want to say this man, you use هذا. If you would like to say this woman, you use هذه. We're going to have a couple of examples on the next page. Remember the nominal sentences that we did last week? Sentences that consist of two nouns, or at least there's no verb in the sentence. If we want to say, we can use the demonstratives as well in these nominal sentences. Using one of them, either هذا, هذه, ذلك or تلك, together with a name or a profession, gives us a sentence. هذا صحفي. This is a journalist, a male journalist. هذه ممرضة. This is a nurse, a female nurse. ذلك محمد. That is Muhammad. تلك ريمة. That is Rima. The sentences we made last week consisted mainly of one definite word and one adjective to describe it, and the adjective stayed in the indefinite. And in those cases, the adjective works as a predicate. Now, we said, for example, الطبيب طويل. The doctor is tall. We also used names, saying Mona جميلة, for example. Mona is beautiful. And we have another example here to the right. البنت قصيرة. The girl is short. Now, if one wants to expand on these sentences a little bit and say something like this doctor is tall instead, or this girl is short, the only thing you have to do is to add the demonstrative pronouns that we just learned in front of the sentences. So, الطبيب طويل, the doctor is tall, becomes هذا الطبيب طويل. This doctor is tall. هذا الطبيب طويل. And البنت قصيرة, the girl is short, becomes هذه البنت قصيرة. This girl is short. And it works, of course, as well with ذلك and تلك, if you would like to say that doctor is tall or that girl is short. Now, we're going to go back and talk about adjectives. As we just said, last week we used adjectives to form sentences. We used adjectives in the position of a predicate to give us more information about the main subject of the sentence. Now, adjectives, when they work as adjectives, as in a big university, a small doctor, a short book, etc., have to agree with the word that they're defining, both in gender and also if it's definite or indefinite. And we're going to come back to why that's important in a second. The gender agreement is always important in Arabic, so that's not an issue. We need to say الشقة الجميلة, the beautiful flat. الطفل الصغير, the small child. طيار طويل, a tall pilot. جامعة كبيرة, a big university. Now, as you can see, as you understand, these aren't proper sentences. They're just describing things. The beautiful flat, yes, and tell me more, please. The small child. Okay, what happened to the small child? We need to have some more information to call it a proper sentence. And that's when it's important to remember if it's definite or indefinite. Because if you were to say الطفل صغير without the definite article on the second part, it becomes the child is small, and you have all of a sudden made a sentence. Okay? So you need to be clear when you write. If you want to write a sentence, in which case you apply the rule we just learned, definite plus indefinite makes a sentence. Or if you want to describe something, if you want to use adjectives to say a tall, beautiful, nice pilot, in which case you need to keep all the words indefinite in that case. If you prefer to say the tall, beautiful, nice pilot, you need to keep all the words definite. Now, we're going to see some examples of how we can use these word combinations or adjectives to build sentences. As we just said, definite, indefinite makes is still applies. If we look to the right, we have the example from last sentence. We had طيار طويل, a tall pilot. But what we've done now is we've added the demonstrative pronoun هذا, this, for masculine, and all of a sudden this becomes a sentence. هذا طيار طويل. This is a tall pilot. It works the same with the feminine. مدينة صغيرة, a small city. هذه مدينة صغيرة. This is a small city. We also had two definite word combinations on the last page. الشقة الجميلة, the beautiful flat, right? Now we add an indefinite adjective at the end, working as a predicate, and this becomes الشقة الجميلة كبيرة. The beautiful flat is big. And the same thing for الطفل الصغير, the small child. الطفل الصغير جميل. The small child is beautiful. So when you look at a sentence trying to translate it into English or whatever language you prefer to translate into, you need to think definite on one side, indefinite on the other side, and in the middle, that's where the is or are or am should go, if it's a nominal sentence, of course.